Now, stop humming this here, everything done changed. That warp tool made you open your brain. Eric Vanek is here, so remember the name. He got the waiver wire for the week. Tell you who to start and who to give a seat. Dropping the podcast every week. You know the knowledge is elite. After the show, we gon' hold a Lombardi. Celebrating like we throwing a party. This the blueprint and I know they gon' copy. Top how my intros always go the hardest. Cause this is America's game.
Hey everybody, welcome back to America's Game, episode number 15. I'm your host, Eric Vanek, and you can follow me on Twitter at Eric Vanek NFL. Follow the show at America's Game Pod as well. And as always, joined by my co-host on this one, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, man? I just love vibing to that America's Game intro that comes in. The video is amazing. The audio. I'm almost jealous, right? Like, Fizzle's done great stuff for everybody, but I don't know, something about that one. The beat. The beat just gets me every single time.
Yeah, same here. The beat is everything about it. The video, beat, song, everything is a pretty awesome on that. So, yeah, I'm thankful and lucky to Fizzle and Adam did that for me. Appreciate it very much.
Really good, really good.
Hell yeah, man. All right, so we're week 10 of the NFL season now. Some interesting takeaways from week 10 and some injuries. Daniel Jones out for the year. That was kind of brutal. I don't know if you watched that one live. Like, he got hurt the play before and then stayed in and then just fucking collapsed. That kind of sucked.
Yeah, he's limping around and you're like, okay, well, he's walking. You know, he must be fine. And then the next one drops back one step on the ground. Done.
That was brutal to see. But that just makes the Giants absolutely brutal to even watch the rest of the year. I feel I'm with you. You said it on the trade show or one of the shows. You're like, I don't care about the Giants. Fuck them. I'm with you on that. I don't care for the Giants. That's probably the team I hate the most in the league. Them and the Steelers. But yeah, it still sucks to see that to a quarterback just drops back and just collapses like that. That was sucky. And then,
I mean, come on. At least Carson Wentz, he stayed in for threw a touchdown pass on his torn ACL.
Right.
Come on, Daniel.
But yeah, just watching them the rest of the year with Tommy DeVito, and hopefully Tyrod comes back here shortly. But yeah, I mean, if it's Tommy DeVito here for the next couple weeks, and I picked him up personally in a couple leagues this week just to have a quarterback. But I also made sure it was on teams where I could pick up Matt Barkley too, because I could see Matt Barkley just coming in here and starting there like, this DeVito guy is terrible. He shouldn't even be on the roster.
I only picked him up in a few spots. One lineup league. The rest were best ball leagues. So, you throw money at any quarterback who's got a pulse.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I don't have to worry about this guy. I spent about 17% of my fab budget on, give or take, here and there on Tommy DeVito. And I won some, lost some. Some people went way higher. Some people didn't bid shit at all. And then I look like an asshole because I spent 17% on Danny DeVito's worst brother playing quarterback. I don't know, but the only real lineup league I bet on him is just because I'm tanking, so I don't really give a shit, right? Like, I have the top 3 picks already locked up, but I do have a little bit of a QB hoard, so it's just like, you guys aren't getting free quarterbacks off the waivers, right?
Exactly. Right.
Here you go.
That's kind of how I was too in some of my leagues, the deeper ones, where you just got to take a quarterback even if they're shitty, see what happens. He might have a good game or two here or there. But yeah, I made sure I picked up Barkley too in those deeper leagues, because I think Barkley could get a start or two here with knowing Dable's offense from being in Buffalo all those years with him. So I think that's a smart play if you have DeVito. Then for Daniel Jones, though, he's definitely not worth a first anymore. What would you be willing to trade him? Any second he's gone?
Any second, yeah. Like,
I don't even know if that's even the right price if somebody even wants to do that, to be honest.
I threw out some offers and none of them got accepted. So, just trying to pivot to Baker Mayfield, right? Like, just give me a quarterback with a pulse, especially in best ball leagues. But nobody's really too inclined to take Daniel Jones, so a second might even be too expensive. If you're on a rebuilder, there's really no point, like, even trying. Just hold him. He's a quarterback. He'll have some value at some point. whether it's with the Giants or whether it's down the road. I mean, shit, I never thought Gardner Minshew would have any more value, and here we are. He's starting for the rest of the year and actually producing fairly well, so.
Yeah, you always have those quarterbacks that if they come in a pinch like Minshew has, they can be very productive for you. So that Minshew is definitely a guy I would always keep on my rosters if I had him. If it's a guy like Tommy DeVito, it's not a guy I'm going to be keeping after this season at all. He'll be on the waivers. No. You can just tell. There's a couple of those guys, Jacoby Brissett.
Brett Rippon.
No, not Brett Rippon. That guy was fucking ass.
You don't like him, man? He comes in, plays one game, and then they're like, get the hell out of here. We'd rather take Carson Wentz.
Yeah, barely throwing for 100 yards. Tyrod Taylor's another one of those guys. There's just a couple of those backups that you can just keep. But yeah, Daniel
Mike
Jones.
Mike White, your boy.
Yep, Mike White. Yep.
Mike effing White.
Tua last year, like 17 injuries. This year, not even a peep of one.
That's because he took that Tua Jitsu.
Yeah.
You should have known, man.
That's all it took. But yeah, for Daniel Jones, I'm selling him any second. If I had him, I'd be fine getting rid of him. I think you argued with me the other day about it. I think they're the lock number 1 pick overall.
I don't know, man. Panthers stink too.
But they don't have their first. It's the Bears.
But I mean, number 1 pick wise, like they stink so bad that they're going to gift it to the Bears, right?
They could. I think Bryce is going to get better. I think as the season goes on here, they're gonna be one of those teams that they suck, but they're gonna win like 2 or 3 games that they shouldn't at the end. Like they'd be playing Atlanta when Atlanta's not playing for something, or one of those teams in their division, and they end up winning a game or 2 there at the end. That's kind of how I see Carolina doing it. Baker Mayfield hasn't had a Baker Mayfield game where he's throwing 4 picks yet. So, that's coming against Carolina at some point. That'll give them a free win. That's kind of just how I'm seeing it. If it's Chicago, though, and they have the Panthers' first pick, I think they got to go Caleb, too, right?
If you can't do it back-to-back years, right? Like, you just can't. If you've been put in that position, you have to. Like, you have to, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be done. And I don't know what they moved Justin Fields for to someone. They get a third, maybe. Like, we like to think that some team will trade for him for a first and just lock him in as a starting quarterback. That isn't really how the NFL works for the most part. Like, you got to really produce on the field and show it. So.
I'd probably say a second. I don't know about first.
Yeah, I think it might even be like a 3rd round pick they get from somebody.
Because I remember Tyrod, the Browns trade for him was a second. So if fucking Tyrod can get a second, I think Fields can get definitely a second.
Okay. All right. It'd be interesting to see, right? Like, I thought Trey Lance had a bunch of talent here. Dallas is just picking him up.
He got dirt cheap. So, I mean, it just depends on who it is, I guess. I think Fields definitely has had an up and down career, but looking at his talent and all that, he could definitely, I think, fetch a second.
How about this? Let's speak it into existence. Arthur Smith gets fired. Justin Fields gets traded to the Falcons for a 2nd round pick next year. In whatever new coaching scheme that they got. Like, let's make that happen. Let's speak that into existence.
Or even Washington. I'd take him in Washington.
Yeah, I think Sam Howell's kind of doing enough right now to keep
That's
that
what
job.
I'm afraid of, too. Yeah. I think Washington's just going to be stuck in that purgatory where they're like, oh, yeah, like how they've been every year, 9-8, 8-9. Yeah, we got a quarterback and then that can just do enough, but can't get us over the hump.
I could see a scenario, though, where... it almost feels inevitable at this point. Like, we've heard the rumors with Washington. Rivera's gone. Like, he's going to get fired. It sounds like they're looking to move on, which is long past overdue. But we've heard the Bill Belichick to Washington rumors, and now you're hearing the rumors out of New England that maybe Kraft's tired of Belichick anyway, so he's about ready to let him go. So I could see a scenario where Belichick does take over Washington, and instead of rolling with Sam Howell, who has played really well this year, going like, what's always killed me in the past? A guy like Justin Fields.
Right.
I want that on my offense.
That was one of the reasons he wanted Cam.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that too. There's a lot of interesting spots Fields could end up. Just trying to...
Vegas?
No, Aiden's the guy there. I'm just kidding. I mean, I could see it. Like, if whoever the new coach is, if it's Pierce or if they move on from Pierce at the end of the season, they could definitely be looking at a new quarterback because this new, I mean, they're going to have a new GM and a new coach. So they didn't draft Aiden O'Connell. They didn't sign Jimmy Garoppolo. Even though Jimmy is still due some money for next year, he's going to still be on the roster unless they can move that money somehow.
Let's put him back in San Francisco, which what they should have taken him, right?
Right.
Out of all the quarterbacks that they had, it's become pretty apparent that Justin Fields should have been the guy that they selected way back when. Kyle Shanahan gets his RG3 back, except for with healthy knees.
For now.
Yeah, not ruined for now.
I mean, man, there's still a few other places that they could go. Just trying to think of a couple off the top of my head here, but
Seattle might be one. Geno's not looking the greatest.
Yeah, Geno's had a very disappointing year, a lot worse than I expected, especially for a team I thought was going to the Super Bowl.
There's a lot of options for Fields though. Like I don't think I'm going to panic because even if you say like the Bears in a couple weeks they're definitely on the trajectory, whether it's their pick or the Panthers pick, that's it's really looking maybe the Giants mess around and win a game. I know unlikely, but maybe they do. And it's becoming more and more likely that Chicago's going to have the number one spot and people are going, it's going to be Caleb or Drake May or whoever they decide with. They're going with the quarterback. I think for dynasty managers, if you have Fields, like don't panic and so low. Like this is a guy who could easily flip for second or third round NFL pick, and all of a sudden you're looking at a starting quarterback for next year too, with a ton of upside for mobility, rushing yards, fantasy points.
And if you looked at Dane Brugler's rankings this week that came out, he flip flopped him. He has Drake May number 1 overall and Caleb third overall now. So it's not even a lock it's not even a lock that Caleb would be the first pick. But yeah, I mean, Caleb, wherever he lands up, I'll be interested. Drake May, same thing. Both of those guys could end up in some good spots here. Another guy that was interesting this week, we were talking a little bit about Fab, Keaton Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
How much Fab did you spend on him this week if he was out there?
He actually wasn't available in a whole lot of leagues. Really wasn't.
Wow. Okay.
So looking around, there wasn't a lot on Sleeper, right? You pull up the trends, and he was the number 1 trending player for Sleeper there for a while, and you pull it up, and that's the first thing I look at just to make sure, because their projections sometimes ain't always the greatest. So if you just look at projections are available based on projections, sometimes those guys don't show up. So I think maybe 2 leagues, and I got outbid for both of them. So you know me though, in the league types I like to play in, we're talking 30, 35, 40 man roster spots. So there's dudes rostered everywhere. Surprisingly, Tommy DeVito wasn't rostered, but that's to be expected. He's shit.
Right. I think once Daniel Jones came back, everybody dropped DeVito, but he was available again. I actually did bid quite a bit on Keaton Mitchell in some of my leagues. My one main home league that I do, I used my number 1 waiver claim on him, so make sure I got him. So I'm blowing my wad there on that one. FFPC, those waivers will run tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to get them yet. But I was some leagues, high 200s, 280s, couple leagues, $300 I spent on them. So if I can get him for that cheap, I'd love it. I think he's going to go a lot higher than that. I think people are going to be willing to spend $700, $600, $800, whatever it is, on Keaton Mitchell. What do you think of him as a player, though?
I was just doing a quick search just to see if I could give you a number somewhere where I saw him go, and pretty much rostered just about everywhere, which is nuts. I got asked on the executives with Cody Carpentier and Matty Kiwoom on Sunday night. They were watching the game, and they asked me about him. And, Matty doesn't really like him, which is fine. I think for me, though, I'm willing to take a shot. I'm starting to come around to this whole notion, too. We're such snobs as a dynasty community, as a fantasy community, when it comes to players and their size. We do this all the time, right? Achane's never going to be shit because he ain't big enough. He's tiny, right? Tank Dell, this is me. I did it to Tank Dell. Tank Dell's never going to be shit because look at him. He's Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell's never going to be shit, and he started off hot this year, right? We're such size snobs. DeVonta Smith's too skinny. I think I'm just past that shit. If you can play, you can play. That's it. And if you show something, I am interested. And Keaton Mitchell showed shit in college. He showed it, albeit maybe in garbage time. And I don't think he's going to come in and unseat Gus Edwards, but it's a nice dynamic to add to their offense that's much different than what they had, right? Justice Hill used to be highly explosive, but injuries, Achilles, that kind of stuff saps it over time. So I really think that he might have a role going forward. I just don't know how prominent, but in this age and day of running backs, shit, give me one on a pretty decent offense that's going to have opportunity. So if you spent a ton on Keaton Mitchell, I have no qualms about it. I would have if he was available, but he just flat wasn't.
Right. Two good points you brought up. So the size thing, I kind of had the same feelings as you did. This Achane, Keaton Mitchell. I've even said it on this podcast and other podcasts. They're too small. I'm not really that interested in it. Well, I think that I'm wrong on that now, and I got to flip on it. I'm flipping on it now. I mean, Achane has shown he can come in and carry the workload, put up a 50 fantasy point week for you. In the right scheme, these guys can do things. Tank Dell, same thing, like you said. Tutu Atwell. All those guys. Looking at the other point that you brought up was the rushing offense. They are number 3 in the league in rushing. This is a team that's going to run the ball. They know how to run the ball. Yeah, it was a lot of it was. I mean, he didn't come in. I think till the second quarter. I think was when he started. But Justice Hill was the one who got the most snaps. Gus Edwards only had 14 snaps, and he did 2 touchdowns and all that damage in 14 snaps. Now, I know Gus Edwards came in, he was a little banged up, so maybe they were just taking the foot off the gas there for him, letting him take a breather just to get his injuries healed up so they're not overusing him. But I think he's better than Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell. And if he can take that snap and Justice Hill gets down to the 10 snaps a game and Keaton Mitchell gets those 25, 30 snaps and the other 25, 30 goes to Gus, I think Keaton Mitchell can definitely make a difference, especially in this rushing offense. Him and Lamar paired together with that speed. Oh, man, I love that. So
one damn league he was available in.
Okay.
And it's that crazy IDP where we're starting like 13 on offense and 12 on defense or whatever it is, 60-man rosters, where those kind of like fringe running backs really don't matter, right? Like a guy gets 2 sacks and he's a 40-pointer, right? You want the defensive players in this best ball league. So one damn league. No Keaton Mitchell anywhere
That's else. Crazy to me that in a 60-man league he wasn't even owned.
Well, you want all those defensive guys, man. You want all them linebackers and defensive ends and even those safeties. I remember Kyle Hamilton had like a 70-point week in this league. Like that's the dudes you want a roster for those explosives.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's still shocking though that he was out there. I don't remember how many he was available in mine, but I'd maybe say 40% of my leagues he was probably available. So took some shots on him. I think he could be, I don't want to call him a league winner, but he could be one. I don't want to stake my claim into that, but I am putting some eggs in that basket. I didn't put all of them in there, but
I'll toss a couple.
Yeah, the spots that I could get him in, I'm going to take a shot, and hopefully it works out for me. Hopefully he continues this pace. They keep getting him the ball because he is explosive. He can make those plays. Something that Baltimore running back room hasn't had in a long time. It's been these plotters. Dobbins, sure, he had some burst to him before he got injured, but those injuries took it away. Justice Hill tore his Achilles a couple years ago. He hasn't really been the same explosive player. They never really used him before that. Gus Edwards is just, north-south, Jerome Bettis type runner. So it's something different they haven't had in a while. So I am curious to see how he plays for sure.
Well, once upon a time, we wrote off Jerick McKinnon on the Chiefs, right? He's kind of small. No one really gives a shit. He's been injured a billion times. It's Kansas City. They'll go to somebody else next week. And all he did was pretty much be a league winner back-to-back years during this final stretch run here. So, not the worst thing if you want to unload the clip on a guy like Keaton Mitchell at this point.
Right. So this is funny about McKinnon. I had him like all year stashed on my teams, and I had to make some roster moves for bye weeks, injuries and whatnot, and I had to drop him, and I'm like so tempted to pick him back up, but like he just hasn't done anything. Like I don't think he has. I think you might have more rushing yards than he does on the year.
He might.
And his receiving yards are great. Well, not great, but they're like 20 yards, 25, 30 here. Gets a couple touchdowns. But yeah, his rushing is just non-existent, especially with CEH is out too. I figured he would maybe get a little bit more. Nope, didn't happen.
Maybe they'll call up Deneric Prince, and that's going to be the Kansas City back to own for the fantasy playoffs, huh?
Yeah, they'll call Spencer Ware again. Hey, you want to come play again?
Is he still around?
Larry Johnson, you want to come play at 45?
Hey, that guy was the truth. He might still be able to get you 100 yards on a good day.
I think he's still recovering from that like 400 carry season he had.
Just give him the ball. Give Larry the ball.
Yeah, that was an amazing year. Another guy, not so amazing. Cam Akers.
Bye.
Another torn Achilles. On the opposite leg this time, but I personally dropped him in every single league I owned him in right after the injury.
Yeah.
I'm one of those types. I just wanted to see what your thoughts were. You're just completely done with him like I am.
Oh yeah. As soon as you got the report and then I watched the video, I think it was from the guy who punctured Tyrod's lung, David Chow. I think it was
he didn't puncture him. It was somebody else. But he used to be a former Chargers doctor. That's probably what you're thinking of.
Well, we just throw it out there anyways.
Yeah.
They'll get me for slander.
I don't want to slander the guy.
But
yeah,
he had the video. He was one of the first ones that I saw
Yep.
that had the video. And when they zoomed in, I saw that calf, do the little quiver. I was like, well, that's it. That's done. And I'm pretty sure that's the other Achilles. It doesn't matter. If it was the same one, if it didn't matter to me. Went right to the leagues. I think I had 3 leagues with Cam Akers. Just type in the name, any fab, right? And one person sent me a 5th instead of fab. I said, that's good enough. I'll take it. The other 2 just got dropped, after the week concluded, and people didn't want that shit anyways. So
yeah, I dropped him in. I think I only had him in 3 of my 50 leagues. I know Scott had him in a couple. Scott dropped him pretty much immediately. And it's just funny. You go through your waivers this morning and you see people picking them up. And you're just like, what are you doing? Like, you just don't listen to any of these podcasts that we do. Like, I don't know. The odds that Cam Akers returned from 1 Achilles was high enough. Now it's 2 Achilles. Yeah, no one's ever done it. Not starting right now. So if you got Cam Akers, I think I just advise you could try for some whatever fab, 5th round pick, 6th round pick, whatever it is. Try for that first, and if nobody even gives you that, just drop them. You're safe to drop them. So, RIP to Mr. Cam Akers. I know Adam must be distraught.
Yeah, he's devastated. It's over for him.
I remember in one of my leagues, before the season started, I got their 2024 first for Cam Akers.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, thank God. I was a smash. Because I had a couple running backs and we were going back and forth on them. And then he offered that one. I couldn't hit accept fast enough on that one.
I can tell y'all, we'll see if Adam actually listens to this too, but Adam's had 2 running backs this year that he's tried to fight me on all the time. And both have popped Achilles this year. So 2 popped Achilles for both of Adam's favorites, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, and you're gonna see a shift, right? Adam's gonna be the lover scorned, right? He's gonna hate every running back. Doesn't matter what their name is. He doesn't like them. He hates them all.
If you can do me a small favor and let me keep a list and let us know what running backs that Adam likes, we will get off of those running backs as soon as possible.
Just don't even bother.
Yeah, right. It's no thanks. Don't want the Adam curse on any of those guys.
He did it to DeAndre Swift last year, man. That's why he didn't get no usage. Yeah. He loved him.
Couple more news bites. Kyler Murray's coming back. Khalil Herbert's coming back. James Conner's coming back. Devin Achane's coming back. There was another one. Justin Jefferson, I think, is getting close to coming back here, too. So getting some reinforcements back, so that's good. And then the other little news one actually broke right before the podcast started here, that the Senior Bowl and all the other different kind of bowls are now going to allow juniors to be included in that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Ooh, that's nice, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge week. The only thing that I would say that I would kind of be a little bit more cautious about, it's a little bit of a downer, right? You want to see the best players there because it's such a central event for, content creators. There's a lot of people who do fantasy that go down there, but scouts, talent evaluators, NFL, you hear all these good reports coming out of the Senior Bowl, and guys come out of nowhere and really rise because you get to see them against other really good, talented players in one-on-one drill settings and practice settings. The only thing that would irritate me just a little bit about it is the fact that there's going to be less opportunity for some of those long shots, right? Those Tyson Bagents of the world, those we wouldn't really know about, Christian Watson, like those kind of people, the Tank Dells, those that really stand out, that really need the Senior Bowl. If you get a bunch of juniors, so hopefully they do something where they kind of cap it. It's just if you
either cap it or just add more roster spots.
Yeah,
Something like that. Even I think that would be good. Because now you're gonna get Caleb and all these guys. Those guys aren't gonna participate anyways. Like Caleb Williams won't be there, Drake May won't be there, but you might get your other guys that could come out if Bo Nix comes out or whatever. Bo Nix would probably be one of the headline guys there.
Right.
Michael Penix, all those guys. They come out, they'll be down there. So I like that.
I think for the quarterbacks, it's probably in their best interest to go, right? Like it's those junior type quarterbacks who aren't locked in.
If you're the super elites, you're Marvin Harrison Jr., you're Brock Bowers, you're not going. You might go down there for meetings and stuff, but you're not participating in any of the drills. No one needs to see Marvin Harrison Jr. work out. We already know the guy's a stud.
Right.
So
we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good, Marvin. We'll see. You'll be off the board in the first 3 picks. NFL draft in May. So
I wonder if it'll be more beneficial for a lot of these running backs too, like these junior running backs, because if you're a senior running back that stayed in college this long, like it really stinks for you. You know what I mean? Like you're getting all that extra wear and tear on your body. If you're a junior guy though, you can go down there and make an impression. Like if you imagine like Braylon Allen showing up to the Senior Bowl this year. And you're like, you get to see the measurables and see this guy in practice, and probably could make himself a little bit of draft capital, right? We talk about it right now with this class. I don't even know if we'll get a second-round running back. Well, Braylon Allen goes down there and dominates and looks like an Adonis. Maybe some NFL scout falls in love, and all of a sudden you're getting him at the back end of the first, and you're going, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, you could. But if you just listen to Dane Brugler and those guys, they're not very high on this running back class coming out at all. Braylon Allen, Rocket Sanders are probably the 2 of the top ones. There's a couple others out there as well. But if you just kind of look at those guys, man, if you have them in Devy leagues, they still got that name cachet. Would you be willing to trade them for something right now? Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm feeling too, because if these guys fall to 3rd-round picks, which it sounded like they might, like Braylon Allen, Rocket Sanders, those guys, we might not even get them in the 2nd. Their draft stock is, taking them in our rookie drafts, taking them at the 1st round is going to be really, really risky.
Right. The way the running back position is right now, I don't. C2C leagues, you just want guys that produce, right, for the college side. But I'm not thinking at all about what their NFL prospects are. Right. I could give 0 shits. Same thing if you're in a Devy league. For me, I would probably not invest any capital into Devy running backs, period. Right? We thought Nick Singleton was awesome this time last year, and he's getting outshined by every other running back on his team at this point, right? He's still doing some things, but like it's not as rosy as we once thought, and the whole running back landscape from college is just kind of a shit show at this point. So if they still got some name cachet, move them. Yeah. If you can find an equivalent wide receiver in that range, like that still holds that kind of name value, go there. Maybe a quarterback prospect, something like that. Do that.
Right, exactly. And Dane talked about these guys are kind of just committee backs now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to come in the NFL. They're going to be in a committee anyways. There's no Bijan that can... I mean, even Bijan's in a damn committee.
Unfortunately, yes.
Jonathan Taylor's in a little bit of a committee with Zach Moss. I mean, it's just how these running backs are. There's very, very few guys that could just... that are Derrick Henry that are going to get all the work. Even Derrick Henry's taking some snaps off from Tajay Spears. So, all right. So now I want to break into our main part of the episode here. So a lot of people right now are going to be starting startups, mid-season startups. They're going to be, there's a lot of the leagues that I've seen form. With some communities like Scott's community that I have, we started a couple startups middle of the year. And that's kind of just a way to, say, man, my season sucked. I need another league. Just do something different kind of thing. And just looking at what I wanted to do here is kind of just look at what are our top 10 ranks right now if we were doing a startup mid-season. What are our quarterback top 10, a running back, wide receiver, tight end top 10s, to kind of give you guys a look at if you're going to do one of these leagues coming up, maybe some of your buddies like this idea. Oh, man, let's do a startup mid-year. You can play rest of this season out, obviously, and then have a playoffs. Usually it's like... if you're doing $100 buy-in, this year is $50 from that 100 you're using for the championship, to crown the winner. And then the other 50 will be used towards next year, whatever it is. So you guys can start a startup here and kind of go from there. So, it's kind of like you were saying earlier offline to me about how these are just like... how did you put it again? I forget.
Well, they're degenerate gamblers. It's everybody at the casino who loses their ass and they go, just give me another 1,000. Like, put me down for another 1,000 on credit. I'll turn this whole thing around right now, right?
Right.
My team may suck this year, but we do another startup. You just wait.
Right. You're
I'm
right.
due.
Yeah, I'm due. This is it. This is my time.
I do a ton of these mid-season startups because they're kind of fun.
Yeah.
To do. I've never done one where we actually play for any kind of money in that season.
Okay.
Still, so like 2023, if it was this one, like you were talking about, whenever I do them, Eric, it's usually just we put the kickers in as placeholders for draft picks, but we'll have the whole 24 draft, rookie draft already decided. Too, So that's always kind of fun to do a whole little dynamic too. And it's like, well, you're building a team for 2024, not 2023. So to see where like the 101 pick would go, where the 102, et cetera, goes. And
yeah, you can do that too. Yep, I've been in a couple of those, and you just throw them into the draft. So if you want, say you're the pick 105 and you want Caleb Williams that bad, you can take the first draft pick right then and there and do it. So,
and one of the cool things for the people, in case you guys don't know, SouthHarmonFF.com, we do have the Sleepier league management system. So if you do one of these on Sleeper, JCap built the tool and it's incredible, but it actually tracks in the draft the kickers. And your specific league, it'll give you the rookie draft order, so you don't have to manually type it out or keep a pin list or whatever. You can actually just look and see that a kicker went. It marks it down as the 101. Then another kicker goes. It marks it down as the 102, so on and so forth, which is really cool.
That is pretty cool. I like that. Have you committed to and doing any of these yet or anything like that?
We talked about it in the Discord, and I said it'd probably be about a week. Like one more week just feels like, hey, we're 4 weeks left to the playoffs. There's going to be some teams go, like, I'd have to win all 4 games and, make up 300 points just to make the playoffs.
Right.
Probably not going to happen. So once the despair really sets in, that's the perfect time. I'm going to have some myself. Like, I'll still have a bunch of contenders going for it too, but you just got to say the words draft, and I get excited. Like,
right, exactly.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's start up some leagues, boys.
All right, so we're going to go through our top 10 quarterback ranks right now. So we'll go 1 to 3 to start. Who would be your top 3 quarterbacks right now?
Ooh, this is actually probably the easiest one. Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, and pick whatever order you want to put them in.
Okay, that's probably where I'm at too. Depending on settings and all that, I could see maybe putting Hurts first over Mahomes.
Very likely. If
it's a point per carry league, maybe Josh Allen over Mahomes too. I could see it. I probably would go if we're just doing a standard, Superflex league with some tight end premium, PPR, no point per carry or anything. I think I would probably go Mahomes, Hurts, Allen as well. I think I'll agree with what Keep Trade Cut has right now.
Sometimes we got to let go of our priors too, right? And I will say this: people go, "You're crazy if you put anybody above Mahomes." Are we?
Right.
Josh Allen has outscored him in points per game multiple times over the past couple of seasons. You look at WARP, if you like to look at that data metric, Josh Allen's like 2, 2, 1, 2. Like, he never falls outside the top 2. And then if you just look at the last couple of years as far as WARP per game goes, Jalen Hurts is the number 1 quarterback in both years. So like, there's a conversation for any of them. So don't just write it off that Patrick Mahomes still carries this massive thing. Like, I wouldn't hate it if we're in a startup right now, Eric, and somebody took Jalen Hurts 1 because maybe there's a little points per carry. I wouldn't hate it if you took Josh Allen, number 1 in the same kind of thing. It's just kind of your flavor. Like, I'm good with all 3 of these quarterbacks. I think they all have a realistic case to be 101.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so quarterbacks 4, 5, and 6. Who would you have for those?
I'm going to go Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and C.J. Stroud.
Wow, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think I would still have Burrow at 4. I like Burrow there. Man, I think I would go. I think I'm just gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with what Keep Trade Cut has right now. I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson at 5, and Herbert at 6.
That's fair. That's fair. Lamar deserves to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
You just told me to name 3, though. If you told me to name 4, I would put all 4 of those guys in the same tier.
Right.
Like they're all in the same tier for me.
Okay. And then your 7, 8, 9, 10. Round it out.
Lamar would be there. That's the end of the tier for me. And then I start a new tier.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence and then Tua.
Tua. Okay. And then I think one more for your 10th.
Oh, number 10. Ooh, this is the tough one. Who the hell would you put at number 10?
And we'll say that this is for going into next season.
Going into next year, doing a startup right now if I wasn't playing for this year. I think I put Anthony Richardson in there, but I can make a case for Kyler. I'm interested to see how Kyler looks when he comes back.
Okay. I would have C.J. Stroud. I agree with that one. I think I would have Anthony Richardson next. Then I would probably have... Ooh, man. It's between Trevor, Tua, and Caleb. I think I would probably go... I think I'm going to go Caleb, then Trevor. I think is going to be my top 10.
Ooh, there you go. Now,
I think...
Yeah. I could put Caleb Williams up there, too.
Yeah, I mean, Drake May's probably right here, too. Kyler, Tua, you mentioned.
Here's the thing. If I was doing one of my in-season startups, I would put the 101 in there. You know what I mean? Like if we were doing the draft right now, and I'm drafting the 101 pick, much different than if I'm drafting one specific player, right?
Right, yeah. Either Caleb or May, whoever it is.
I think if I was doing that, I would put the 101 above where I had Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, that's fair. And just looking at Keep Trade Cut here, too, of how far Deshaun Watson has fallen, I think they're crazy. But if Deshaun Watson is this far down, I'd probably go buy some. They have Sam Howell and Will Levis above him.
And Brock Purdy.
Yeah, no thank you.
Pass.
Yeah. All right, now looking at running backs. So our top 10 running backs. Who would be your top 3 running backs? Yes, unfortunately. At least we don't have any rookie running backs to throw in here.
I'm going to go Bijan, Breece Hall, Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. I think I would I had the same. Bijan, Breece, Christian McCaffrey. I think that's a pretty locked-in top 3 for me, so I like that. How about your 4, 5, 6?
4, I would go Jahmyr Gibbs. I would go Travis Etienne at 5, and 6 would be Devon Achane.
Nice. Okay, I like that. I think I'm going to go Etienne at 4, Gibbs at 5, and yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I'd go Achane at 6, so I like that. And then our 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, 8, 7, 8, 9. Now I got to come up with 2 more. It's so hard to come up with 2 more because they all suck. They're all bad.
There's a couple that are still good out there.
I think I'll put Saquon up there until I see him actually die off.
Right.
Officially. Man.
I mean, he's still only 26, so it's not like Barkley's completely fallen off a cliff.
Right. And I'll put Austin Eckler up there. I think that's kind of he'll be my number 10. I still think he's got a game that could last another couple years.
All right, I agree with you on Taylor. I really, really like Ken Walker, and it's hard to put any of these guys above Ken Walker. But, man, the last couple of weeks have been kind of scary to me with Charbonnet getting some more work, and it's like, ooh, man, if Walker just doesn't get all the volume, he could just fall off a cliff.
Right.
I think I would probably go Walker here, but it is shaky. I do like Barkley. I think my last spot is close. Like you had Eckler. I think I kind of want to put DeAndre Swift there. I think he is really showing something with Philadelphia, man.
Ooh, little resurgence. I love it. Let's
Right.
go.
I mean, he can catch the ball still. He's gonna have a really good offensive line there. Like, they prioritize the offensive line there, even though some of their guys are older now. They've, drafted those young guys behind them to play there. So,
Right.
Their offensive line is going to still be pretty good. I think I'm going to go Swift. He's still only 24. I mean, he's the same age as Jonathan Taylor, so it's not like he's ancient or anything. So I'll go Swift over Eckler for my last spot.
I like that. That's a good call. Good call.
Okay. All right, wide receivers now. This is an interesting one. Who would you have as your top 3 wide receivers right now?
So Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, 1 and 2. Still for me. Those guys are just different. But I will also add somebody into the tier, and it's going to be Marvelous Marv. So generally, if we're talking about the startup, it's going to be the 103. I think it's within reason. Mm-hmm. And I actually think there'll be some people that'll have him over Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I think people are going to have Marvin up this high. He's going to top 5 conservatively, probably more like you said, top 3. He's going to be valued that highly as soon as he comes into the league.
The minute he does, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's Jamar Chase, I think, as number 1, just because he's going to be locked with Joe Burrow. I have no idea who the hell Justin Jefferson's going to be locked with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Dobbs again? Sure, possibly, because they're what, 4-4 or 5-4 now? They're going to have a late pick.
Please make Michael Penix happen. Please lose the rest of your games and make Michael Penix happen. Michael Penix to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Penix fan, so you might be the guy this year that's liking him, but we'll see. I want to hear more about, we haven't really heard more about what Dane Brugler and Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, Mel Kiper, all those guys, what they've really had to say about those guys to really dive deep into the games. Plus, we still have, half the college season left, it seems like, before some of the really big games are coming up here for a lot of those guys, so we'll see how they do in the playoffs and deep in their conference championship games and stuff. But yeah, I really don't know who Justin Jefferson's quarterback is going to be. Could they be a team that gets Justin Fields? Maybe, but the Bears going to trade him within division. Ryan Tannehill's going to be available for somebody. I mean, I know it's an older guy, but he's still pretty decent. Jimmy G could be moved on. Daniel Jones could be moved on if Caleb Williams goes to the Giants. So there's different possibilities there for the Vikings of who they could get at quarterback. But for right now, if I'm doing a startup, I think I'm going to take Chase over Jefferson just because of that uncertainty. Still love Jefferson. He's a tremendous player. Number 3, I think I'm going to agree with you on Marvin Harrison, because if I don't, I just think I'll be missing out. I won't be able to get him. So I agree with you on the top 3. A little different order, but the top 3 I agree with. You're 4, 5, and 6.
Hot take alert for number 4, right? Let's go. Fire it up. Woo, make a sounder. Tyreek Hill still going to be number 4.
Okay. I have no problems with that at all. I know he's a little older than these guys that are, on the list ahead of him, but I can't argue with it.
He's just good, man. And you if you realistically look at it and you go, is he going to lose a step in 2024? Like, from now till then? Like,
we've been saying happen? Travis Kelce's going to lose a step for 3 years now.
Exactly. Like,
he hasn't missed a damn step. Right.
That offense, too, getting him the ball and how dynamic and fast he is, it's going to keep going, and he's going to keep producing. So that's the number 4 wide receiver in Dynasty right now, in my opinion.
Okay. And then 5 and 6?
5 and 6, then I'll go A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and I'll put CeeDee Lamb kind of as a tie with Amon-Ra. Like, we got to put some respect on Amon-Ra's name, so I'll give you an extra right there. I mean, it'd be 6 and 7.
That's your 7, okay.
Those, so yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We can do that. I agree with you. A.J. Brown at 4. That guy's been absolutely phenomenal this season. One of my favorite players in the league. 5th, I'll probably put Tyreek with you there. I think I go AJ over Tyreek, but it's so close. Like, I can't really argue there. Next up, I think you're correct on a tie with CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra. I think, man, I know CeeDee Lamb just had a tremendous game. I'm kind of just scared of that whole offense with Dallas with McCarthy calling plays, man. Like they're winning enough games to where they're not going to shit can McCarthy unless they just absolutely implode during the playoffs or something. I think I'm going to put Amon-Ra above CD Lamb because I know Amon-Ra, man, with him and Goff just have a really good chemistry. I know he's getting the ball. I just never know week to week with Dallas who the hell's going to produce for them or not just because they're so inconsistent. So that would be my top 7 with Amon-Ra over CD. And then who do you have for 8, 9, and 10?
8, 9, and 10 is going to be tough, right? Because there's a whole, we kind of get into that tier of, flat tier of meh, right? They either have warts because they're old, they're young, and aren't really producing at an elite level, or they're number 2 options on their team. I'm going to try my best here. DeVonta Smith, I think, still deserves to be up here, even though being the number 2. And it hasn't been super rosy for him, but we also kind of saw this last year. Didn't start off the greatest and then just finished the season on a massive tear. So I will still put him up there. I still value DeVonta Smith really high. I'm going to go T. Higgins at 9, and people are probably going to hate this. Either way, it's going to work out good for me. Either he returns with Joe Burrow, and you're tied in 1 and 2 still, which I don't think is likely because I don't think they have the money to pay Chase. They already paid Burrow and paid T. Higgins. I don't think that's going to happen. He goes somewhere, though, he's a bona fide alpha receiver, number 1 option, and we can only hope that it's someplace like Carolina, with Bryce Young. We can hope maybe it's a place with like Justin Herbert and the Chargers, and they just go fucking Quentin Johnson. It didn't work out, but we need that big body alpha receiver. So T. Higgins at 9, and then 10. I think I want the wide receiver 2 in this class, whoever that shakes out to be, right? So it'd probably be a draft pick for me. Keon Coleman is really, really good. Rome Odunze is very, very good. I don't know who's going to be the number 2, and I would say there's a very strong case for Malik Neighbors to be in that conversation. But the number 2 wide receiver in this class is going to be fantastic as well. They just get overshadowed by how fucking awesome Marvin Harrison Jr. is, right? Like his consolation prize. I want the consolation prize rookie wide receiver.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I definitely was not thinking about the wide receiver too. I think there's still some guys I would take personally. Maybe I don't know. There's maybe like 6 or 7 guys I'd probably take over the wide receiver too. But it also depends. Like you said, if one of those guys ends up in the right spot, I don't want everyone uses Kansas City, but even like a Buffalo or something something like that, man, that could shoot them up right up there. So I agree with that. But man, who would I at 8? I'm gonna mention a guy that you didn't even mention. That was Garrett Wilson. Even with Zach Wilson throwing him the ball right now, he's been freaking great the last 3 weeks that he's played. Still only 23 years old. Should get Aaron Rodgers back next year. It might even get Aaron Rodgers back here in a couple weeks, believe it or not. I want to see that. I think Garrett Wilson is showing the ability to be an alpha in this league, even with Zach Wilson throwing the ball the last 2 years. So I'm going to still stick with Garrett Wilson, and I know he's going to get better quarterback play. So that one's pretty locked for me. Kind of the same thing that you said about Tyreek Hill. I know he's older. So is Stephon Diggs, same age. Mm-hmm. That guy doesn't slow down either. That guy's a walking 100 catches every single year for like 3 years in a row now. So I think I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs up there still at my number 9 spot. Number 10, there's literally a handful of guys. You mentioned DeVonta Smith, T. Higgins. Those guys are right up there. Jalen Waddle's in there. Chris Olave. They have Jordan Addison, Puka Nacua, those guys up here that high. I don't know if I go that high yet. Maybe Addison if you got the right quarterback. I still like Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk has had a tremendous season.
Yep.
I think I'm going to go with Olave. I know he hasn't had the greatest season yet, but I think I would go Olave there. Jalen Waddle's still really, really good too, but Waddle hasn't had the season I thought he could so far. I know injuries have really done that to him, but
keep this in mind when you're in your startups, your mid-season startups, right? You're talking about guys that are probably in like the 3rd, 4th round range of the startup. and it's deep as shit. It is deep as shit. Plenty of options. So
Right.
you don't necessarily have to go wide receiver real early because you can hammer a bunch in the 3rd and 4th rounds if that's what you want to do.
Absolutely. Yep. Good call. And you could even, if you want to hit the hell out of this tier, I personally don't like doing this. If you wanted to trade back, you can trade back here. Trade back from your 3rd and 4th picks. Maybe you pick up a couple 5s and 6s and have double picks in those rounds. You're still going to be getting the DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Nico Collins, George Pickens. You're going to be in that tier.
Drake London, Zay Flowers. Like, there's plenty of dudes down here.
Yeah, so there's so many wide receivers in the league that you can kind of do that. So that's a good call. But I think I'm going to go Olave as my 10th guy. But there's, like you said, any day of the week I might wake up and find somebody new to go with. So.
It's hard, honestly, because once you get to 8, Eric, I'm pretty sure you could go 8 to 15, 16, and I could see them ranked any which way. Yeah. Any which order.
Absolutely. Right? Agreed.
Like you said, you're going to have Garrett Wilson up there. That's a guy who was like, okay, yeah, I could see him. He's like probably 12 for me, but Jesus, being 8 isn't crazy either.
No, because the guy was like top 5 going into the season. So he's only fallen just because he's got stuck with Zach Wilson for the rest of the year. But as soon as he gets Aaron Rodgers back, he's going to shoot back up.
100%. I'm with you.
And he's had a great, pretty good year regardless. So, and then tight ends. So let's finish it off here with the tight ends. Your top 3 tight ends.
Ooh, do we have to?
Yeah, unfortunately, this one's going to be ugly after like 5.
Top 3 tight ends: Sam LaPorta, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. And this is going to depend on how you want to build your team, I guess. If you're taking tight ends, then I got to rank them, right? If you're going for the youth build, you're not taking Travis Kelce.
Right.
Period. Yeah. So you're good. You just pass.
Yeah. Excuse me. It depends on what your preference is and how you're going to build your team. So you got to come in with a plan, obviously. And if your plan is to go win now, Kelce's going to be a guy that you're going to want to take. If you want to build younger, like I like to build young and win now at the same time. There's a way to do it. You're going to get a guy like Sam LaPorta because Sam LaPorta has been great. Mark Andrews is still young. TJ Hawkinson's still young. So those guys you can still get and be a win now team. I think I agree with you. I'd probably go LaPorta, Kelce, Andrews is my top 3 as well. What about 4, 5, and 6?
Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers at 4. The hype is going to be ridiculous for him. Might even push for that number 3 spot behind probably LaPorta and Kelce, and Mark Andrews will be the one getting pushed to the side, but Bowers is going to be up there. Dalton Kincaid is coming on real strong, and then I will still put Kyle Pitts up there because what if Arthur Smith gets fired and they get a quarterback? Like, what if? Like, do we finally get it? There's going to be that hopium still around Kyle Pitts.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I think I would go Bowers at 4 because of that hype. You kicked Hockenson out of this tier, which is interesting, but I kind of agree with you. Me.
If you're watching on video, he's watching over my shoulder.
Yeah, you're kicking the Iowa tight end out, but it's the same conversation I just had with Justin Jefferson. He's not going to have Kirk Cousins next year. I don't know who the hell he's going to have. Does he have Josh Dobbs again? Maybe. I don't know.
My biggest fear is that TJ Hockenson falls back into that tier of tight ends we don't give a shit about at all. You know what I mean? The Dallas Goederts, the Pat Freiermuths. Yes, they're names, and people like them because of their names, but if you look at production, however you want to do it, they're flat, and they basically all give you the same. It's just your flavor of what you want, and I'm pretty sure, Eric, we're kind of headed in that direction right now.
So, yeah, before your league mates realize that this might be the guy you trade. Maybe you trade Hockenson, go get Dalton Kincaid. Maybe you get, a plus on top of Kyle Pitts for Hockenson.
Yeah.
So that could be, if you have a TJ Hockenson team, that might be the play. So I think I agree with you. I'll go Bowers, Kincaid, and Pitts. I think I agree with that top 6. And then how about your 7, 8, 9, and 10?
These guys don't really matter.
I agree.
I'm gonna go Dallas Goedert at 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Trey McBride.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm gonna put him up there. Right, you got to see one game of like holy shit, and then we got to see Clayton Tune. So maybe
yeah, that was a holy shit too. Like holy shit, I've never seen somebody this fucking bad in my life. I mean, I knew Trace McSorley existed, but holy shit.
I'm going to put Evan Ingram up there because all he does is produce. Like, he's kind of crusty and gross for a lot of people, but he's locked in with that contract now, and he's producing. And then I'm going to put Jake Ferguson up there. Like, they really.
So you don't even have Hockenson or Kittle in your top 10.
Yeah. I should redo this. Hockenson deserves to be up there.
Okay.
So, my bad.
I just forgot. Okay.
So we're at 7? 7.
Yes.
Yeah. 7. We'll put Hockenson at 7. We'll put Goedert at 8. Okay. 9 and 10, I'm going to go Trey McBride and Evan Ingram.
Okay. I can get with that. So my 7 would be Hockenson. My 8 would be... Man, I think it's going to be... Man, do I want to go Goedert? I think I'm going to go Goedert still, even though he's injury prone. I think 9, I'm going to go Cole Kmet. He's going to probably have Caleb or Drake May throwing him the ball, which is a major upgrade. And he's only 24 years old still, even though he's been in the league for like 3 or 4 years. Kmet has looked pretty good at times this year, so I'm going to go Kmet. And then 10... Yeah, there's so many guys. McBride's looked solid. Jake Ferguson has looked really good. Luke Musgrave has looked good at times. We haven't even mentioned George Kittle. I think I'm gonna go Jake Ferguson. I really like what I've seen from Jake Ferguson this year.
I can get behind that.
So I think I would go him as 10. But there's some guys we said, oh man, we don't want any of these guys, but there's still a couple guys out here I'm interested in, like Musgrave. Evan Ingram, you mentioned.
Yep.
McBride. I still think there's something there for Michael Mayer. I'm hoping this new regime just starts getting him the ball. I still think there's something there for Njoku if Deshaun Watson can finally get his shit together.
I was just going to ask you to think about this from the standpoint of, like we talked about with the wide receivers in your draft. There's going to be a few people who take tight end maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round, depending on your tight end premium and what the roster settings are, whether it's a start 2 tight end league or whatever. People are going to like Sam LaPorta. There's still going to be some Dalton Kincaid fans out there, some hype, especially if he continues it. Some Kyle Pitts guys that are doing it. Really, though, outside of picking your direction with Travis Kelce, why take a tight end so early when down to tight end 18? Darren Waller, Cade Otton, Chig, if that's still your dude. You mentioned David Njoku, Dalton Schultz, Pat Freiermuth, Luke Musgrave, Evan Ingram. We're talking about all these guys. You're talking about guys that are going to be around 9, 10, 11 startup picks, and there's not a whole lot of difference between them and whoever the hell the tight end 3 is. So just think about that for a draft strategy when you do it. I don't have to take the tight ends early. I can just get one of these other dudes and be fine with it.
And you were talking about this middle tier of Hockenson, Kincaid, Pitts, Goedert, those types that were right after our top 5. The only reason I would take any of those guys where they're probably going to go would be to stack. So if I had Josh Allen and I wanted to get Kincaid, I would be willing to do that. Obviously, you're probably not going to know who Kyle Pitts quarterback is or Hockenson. Goedert and Hurts if you wanted to make that stack. Cole Kmet, you're not going to know his quarterback yet, so maybe you kind of pass on those guys. But if you do have Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts, I think taking Kincaid or Goedert may be about where they're supposed to go around, whatever it is, 6 or 7. I'm fine with that, but I agree with your strategy. I'd probably just take one of the last of these guys, whoever they leave me, from that tier.
I think your best bet is to, at least strategy-wise, kind of depending on what you're doing, right? I want to put my focus on elite quarterbacks, those guys we talked about in the top 10. If you want to go down to 11 at the quarterback, completely fine. Get some of those guys. Punt the shit out of the running back position. Who cares? Kick it to the moon, and then also punt the tight end position. So whether you want to go after those couple of elite guys at the wide receiver with your 1st round pick, the Chases, the Jefferson, the pick that could be Marvin Harrison Jr., load up on draft capital, whatever it is, and then backfill it with a lot of this nice youthful depth at wide receiver and just go tight end can kiss my ass, running back can kiss my ass, because I'm just going to running back especially. You'll find those dudes in round 17, 18, get a bunch of 2nd round picks, some 3rd round picks, who gives a shit. But tight ends just kind of target where you're going to round 9, I'm going to take my first tight end. Maybe in round 13, I back him up with Dalton Schultz or some shit like this.
Right.
And then I'm good at tight end for the rest of the draft, but I didn't have to spend any real capital to get it.
Right. And in these kind of leagues, too, how I like to build Superflex PPR leagues, maybe a 1.5 tight end premium. We'll say start 2 running backs, 3 receivers. Maybe you get 2 or 3, 4 flexes. I'm hammering the wide receivers. I'm just going probably get my quarterbacks with my first 2 picks, and then I'm going to hammer the hell out of wide receivers, running backs, or whatever. That's how I usually kind of draft in some of these leagues. But my strategy will change depending on settings too. If it's point per carry, I'm going to want to get a running back or 2. If the tight end premium is 1.75 or higher, or it's even start 2 tight end leagues, which I like too. I'm going to prioritize the tight ends a little bit more, so it mixes up the balance. Kind of just depends on how you set up the league.
Yeah. If you draft with kickers as placeholders for rookie picks too, I find now is kind of like the best time if you want to be that real future sight like rookie draft pick hoarding. Because everybody's in the now. You're seeing C.J. Stroud play well. You got to see Anthony Richardson. You saw some flashes from JSN, Zay Flowers, Puka Nacua, like these young guys. Even some of these aging vets we're going to speak very fondly of. Travis Kelce's doing really well. We have the love for the A.J. Browns and the CeeDee Lambs because they're in our minds right now. They're going off. You could be the draft pick whore. You can walk away with some of these with literally your first 5, 6 picks all being within the top 7, 8 of the rookie draft next year, and you're going I could never accomplish this.
Right,
exactly. In normal, I could never do a startup in the off season and get this many rookie picks.
Yeah, so that might be a strategy to do. Just say, hey, I'm going to go and just do rookie draft picks. I'm going to take the 101, I'll take the 102, the 103, I'll take all of them. Fuck it.
Right.
And then, you got the first 3 picks, and you have Caleb Williams, Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr., and all 3 of those guys become really, really good players like we think they're going to be, and your team's looking great. And, it might not be the first year that it really produces, but year 2, you're going to have the team that everybody wants because you got all these young studs. So I agree with that.
You got you got the safe assets, right? The ones you don't have to worry about them blowing their Achilles out because it's a draft pick.
Right.
Draft pick don't get hurt. Player gets hurt.
Exactly. Yeah, so things can change. One of these guys could get injured too. Who knows? So
I think I'd be a little bit more skeptical if, like you said, you had to name the rookie, right? Kind of like a
I was just doing it for the rankings.
Yeah.
Usually in most of these leagues, you just get the 101 rookie pick,
right?
102, right?
But some leagues do it that way, where you got to actually name the rookie, and I think I'm a little bit more hesitant to put.
I wouldn't even join that league. I'd be like, no thanks. Yeah,
no thank you. But if I was, and there was people getting crazy, where they're like, I'm naming Brock Bowers here, I'm naming Malik Neighbors, I'm naming this running back or this Michael Penix, like this third quarterback, who may not even be a first-round NFL pick. I think I go with the opposite strategy, where I just avoid rookies, and I'm just going to take everything else, right? I'm going to take all current NFL guys while everybody else does this. So,
right, absolutely. All right, well, so that is our top 10 for each position. If you're going to go ahead and do a startup here soon in the middle of the season, those are always fun to do. I'll probably look to maybe do one of those. So they're always fun kind of do the draft in the middle of the season. Are we ready to do America's favorite game?
Yes. What kind of question is that? Just like a degenerate gambler, hit me.
Yeah, hit me. Yeah, do it again. All right. So I came up with this one this morning. Do you know what Friday is?
What Friday is? This Friday?
What's coming up this Friday? Do you know?
Is it Veterans Day this Friday?
No, it's Saturday.
Saturday's Veterans Day, okay.
Yeah, thanks to all the veterans out there, by the way.
I just know where I work. Some people have holidays. I don't.
Right. Okay, no. It's kind of a holiday. Non-official.
Unofficial holiday. No, I don't. What is Friday?
Fizzle knows if Fizzle's listening. I see him on Discord. It says playing Call of Duty.
Oh, the new Modern Warfare dropping?
On Friday, yeah.
Oh, boy.
So, what is your favorite Call of Duty game?
Oh, man, I haven't played Call of Duty in forever.
Okay.
I think the last time I got into it was maybe Black Ops 2.
Okay.
And I gave it a try, and then some 12-year-old just gaped me and talked shit to me the whole time, and I'm like, I'm in my 30s, bro. I'm getting talked out to by fucking 12.
It might have been Black Ops 2. I don't remember which one it was, but I stopped playing for a couple years. There was a Call of Duty where I don't know. You had like a fucking jetpack and you could fly around a little bit, or had like a gust. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks. I'm not doing this flying shit. But my favorite one was the original Modern Warfare, where if you got like the 25 kill streak, you got the nuclear bomb. You could drop it, and it ended the match right then and there. I got it once, only one time. And here's my little cousin who's 12 years old, and he's getting them like every day. I'm like, you little bastard.
I'm trying to think of one I spent way too much time on, but it might have been one of the first Modern Warfares. Might have been the first one.
Okay.
Yeah,
because Modern Warfare 2 just came out last year, and Modern Warfare 3 is right now.
They used to have this mode, and they might still have it. This is how long it's been since I played it, but basically you go against like swarms.
Oh yeah,
repeating swarms, and you try to make like your final stand.
Yep.
But there used to be this one level where there was a central building. In order to get to it, you had to go down steps on either side, and there was a nice big space in the center where you could like hide in the corner, and they couldn't get to you. But as you'd go out and you'd run and you kill some waves, you get more money where you can buy shit, and you could set up all these automatic like miniguns and shit all over the place and booby trap the hell out of it. But it was like some French city map. But I spent way too many hours on that trying to make like intricate claymore mazes and fucking miniguns all over the place, and just seeing how far he could get before they just absolutely overwhelm you.
Okay. I didn't play that mode. I'm more of I play the multiplayer. I'll play the campaign and stuff. The campaigns, man, they're like freaking movies nowadays. They get like actual actors playing in them, and their video created in the game and everything. The Modern Warfare ones are cool. Like I remember, I think it's the first Modern Warfare or Black Ops, like where you got the main character. I forget the hell his name was. The guy you got to kill. He's in the newest one, anyways. He comes back. Makarov, that's it.
Makarov.
And I think it's Modern Warfare 1. You're in a sniper map. It's like in the Chernobyl one.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and you got to snipe them. It's like where the Ferris wheel's at.
Yep.
I remember that one. Yeah, but that was definitely my favorite Modern Warfare. I spent a ton of time on that, and it was so. I had my first like HD TV back then, and I would just sit in this one little spot on the minigun. And it would be across the map. I forget what the hell the map was called, but it was like there's two hills on each side. And any little movement, man, I was on it. My hand-eye coordination, I just saw any little movement on this HD TV. Just fuck guys up with it, man. It was great. Loved it. I spent way too much time on that game.
I remember one that they had where you got to go up into a C-130 Spectre gunship.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the kill streaks. Yeah.
Like it was actually in a campaign mode.
Oh, in the campaign mode.
In the campaign mode.
Yeah, they usually have that in every campaign mode now.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, they're fun. But yeah, even getting the kill streaks with that is too. Like, it's always fun when you get like that random kill streak that falls and you don't know what it is, and then you get that really sweet like the C-130 gunship and shit, and you get to shoot down people with that. That's always fun. That's how I got my my nuclear bomb. I was sniping on a map. And I was just picking people off, and then I got that C-130, and I'm just lit them all up until I got to the 25 kill streak and was able to drop the nuke. So that was, that was fun.
The most fun, the one I have the fondest memories of is playing with my friends when I was younger, the first original Call of Duty,
right?
And just running around. And when we play multiplayer, like in person at the house too. We all thought we were in the movie Saving Private Ryan, and I used to have a buddy that used to do that. So I don't remember the character's name, but the actor's Barry Pepper, the sniper in Saving Private Ryan.
Yep.
He used to do that fucking line all the time when we would play at our house, right? He'd like snipe somebody, and he goes, "Put me anywhere up to and including 1 mile of Adolf Hitler. Pack your bags, boys." War's over. But he used to do that shit on repeat every time he'd get a kill. He's such a dick.
Oh, yeah, that's great. You ever see the boom headshot video that the one guy made?
No.
No, that's an old one. That reminds me of that one.
Yeah, look that up now.
I'll definitely send it to you. But
headshot.
Right. Oh man, yeah. Call of Duty coming out. Kyler Murray's gonna suck this weekend. First game back, and then the new Call of Duty's dropping. This guy ain't studying for shit Friday and Saturday.
You know what? I'm 2 for 2 on predictions, right? And they usually come on Friday night's show or with Adam. I called the Will Levis thing on his debut, right? I said he was going for 3 touchdowns. I lowballed him. It went for 4.
4.
Right. This last Friday, Adam was talking about like potential matchup with Cincinnati, and I was like, T. Higgins gonna have a big game. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Right.
T. Higgins had a big game. Eric, let's do it. I'm calling Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's gonna have 2 touchdowns and. I'd say he probably goes over 260 in yards. He's going to be a top 12 quarterback on the week in his first game back. Okay. How about that fantasy points-wise? We'll see if I'm 3 for 3.
So he's going to maybe play Call of Duty the week after.
You play Call of Duty the week after.
All right.
As soon as the game's over on Sunday, he hitting them sticks.
That's awesome. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode, guys. You can follow me on Twitter at Eric Vanek NFL. Follow the show at America's Game Pod, at South Harmon FF on Twitter as well. Follow us there. Get the trade show, 4D chess, find out when all that's dropping. Waiver wire show I do on Tuesdays. Start sit we do on Sundays. Me, Adam, and Mike. Fizzle was on there this week, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, make sure you guys check that out. Check out the website, southharmonff.com. Warp Tools on there, Mind Warped, all the other good stuff. We'll have some more stuff coming here for you soon. But yeah, that's it for me. Anything you got, Mike?
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment away on the video. Engagement, that stuff helps us out so much. And if you listen on podcast form, leave us a rating, leave us a review if you're so inclined. Again, helps us out, and we love to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Absolutely. We want some feedback. Make fun of Eric and I's top 10 list. I'm sure mine will get made fun of. How the hell you have T. Higgins still in the top 10? Listen, I'm never leaving. I'm like the Wolf of Wall Street. I ain't leaving. I ain't fucking leaving.
Nice. Oh, all right, so that's a good ending that we're going to end on there. So until next week, America's Game episode number 16, we'll see you guys then. Have a good one.